Hey everybody, Matt Novak with NovackWoodwork. It's a gorgeous Saturday morning. Have a new project that my wife has asked me to do and commission. And basically it's going to be a little climbing ladder with a slide, things like that for our son Holcomb. His birthday is on January 9th. So I have about a week to do this, better timing than the last one, but we've looked up some of the stuff. You can buy them on Amazon, you can buy them on Etsy and different things like that, and they're like $200 to $800, maybe even $250 to $800. So I'm gonna go ahead and make one for him. So today, while he's taking a little nap right now, I'm just gonna rip through some of the boards that I have. I'm gonna try and make it the sides probably 2.5 to 3 inches long, coming up and down, and then we'll have lots of dowel rods that we'll buy. I think there's about 15 of those, and we'll make a triangle stabilization for the top, and then he could play on it and the kids could crawl through it. But we'll have that for the kind of A-frame type climbing ladder. We'll also do a little slide that's probably going to be, I'm thinking, anywhere about 14 to 16 inches wide, coming off the A-frame, the slide coming out, and then we'll also have a little climbing for here as well, so they can climb up to this, climb up, go back down, or hit the slide and go down. All of it will be detachable, and they can move it and shift it around. So it kind of looks like this right here, something similar to that. So it'll be a fun little project to do over the next week, but I have some oak plywood, 3/4 inch, as well as quite a bit of 3/4 pine that I have laying around from other projects. So I'm gonna sand, I'll probably rip it down, throw it through the planer, and get a nice finish, at least start on it from the pine wood that I have, and then the plywood, I'll just rip that down and all of that. So we'll do a round over edge on all of it with the router, and we'll see how it turns out. This video was incredibly fun to do for my family and my 2 boys, especially for Holcomb for his first birthday. A lot throughout this series I talk about pine and oak and what I used. When it came down to the very end, I had enough oak to do the entire project, so that's what I stuck with for the whole time. On this, I pretty much have rough cut 1x4, 1x6 lumber, and I ripped it down as well as planed it down to the same thickness and everything. On here, I'm pretty much just cutting everything to length. All right, so where I'm at is I cut everything proper length. I have 2 at 36 inches, 2 at 32 inches. I have 2 at about 26 inches that I'm going to make an additional ladder. I also cut 2 at 48 inches for the entire slide. So we'll have the A-frame, it comes up, a longer slide, and a small little ladder there. And what on all of them, I want to make sure it's rounded over on the ends, on both ends here, and the slide and the ladder. So once I cut it all down, I tried a couple different things around the house, and realistically, the best thing that works is a masonry jar. Not the wide mouth. I tried the wide mouth. It did not work. A normal masonry jar, kind of lid cover. So if you see here, all I'm doing is flipping it around. If I do it like this, if you can see, it's just a freckle too wide. So it might be more for 3 inch. But if I did it, flipped it invert, hold it off to the sides, really run my pencil around it. It's kind of the perfect curvature angle that I'll get. I'll do this with all of the boards, and then I will run them through the bandsaw just to get a little bit closer, and then I will sand it to get it even finer all the way to the line. I will also run over all these edges just with a router on the router table, just barely chamfer them just a little bit so my boys don't get any splinters in this as they play. All right, here we are the next day. I still have 5 days to complete this play set for our son Holcomb. So I've cut all the materials out. I've used basically, like I discussed, the masonry jar lid to really make a mark here It's nearly perfect for rounding off them. I went ahead and used the bandsaw and I rough cut a couple of them, as you can see right here. And I also have just another test piece. This right here is an entire board that's just a test board. It's just a waste board, but I want to see if what I do. So I'm going to practice. I got one side here I haven't done on the bandsaw yet. I did this side on the bandsaw, just rough cutting it. Same with this one. And what I'm really going to do now is to see, I have my dual orbital sander and I have a Diablo 80 grit sandpaper on it, and I'm going to see, you know, how smooth it can get by sanding it with this. I'm not sure this is the right solution for it, so I'm going to test it with that, and I will test another one with some 80 grit sandpaper 3M that I have here, and just a little simple wood block, and seeing if that's going to really get it a better, closer to the edge, rounding off the corners. You know, so we'll see which one. I know the orbital may actually go faster, but I'm just not sure if dipping and if it'll be right. Unfortunately, I don't have any other type of sander, so these are my two options that I have right now. So I'm going to test those out. Let's see which one will be the best for this. All right, after initial couple things of testing, sanding block worked great for just making sure you get a little bit finer around everything. You had a little bit more control, but the orbital made it go much faster. It took me almost 3 minutes to do one of those with the block. Again, I'm holding it up against my chest, so it's not real comparison to a finishing table inside. But the orbital took about 3 minutes for sanding block. Orbital only took a minute. So if I save, 2 minutes on, how many boards do I have? 12 boards. So each board has two sides, 24. It's saving a lot of minutes. So I think I'm going to go with the orbital. I will go with probably, like I started out with, an 80 grit to start out with, just to get it there. These are already pretty stinking smooth from the table saw that I have with a brand new blade and the planer with new blades. So I'll start with 80. I'll jump up to 120 and maybe 150 and then 200, but we'll see how much time allows for the finish and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting the rest of these cut out on the bandsaw, and then I will start sanding them and seeing if I can get as many done as I can right now. So I want to give you an update on where I'm at with the project. I haven't cut any more or rounded off any more edges of the pieces yet. After thinking through a little bit more, I wanted to take the straight edge like this one has. This is my mock-up piece, and I wanted to measure it all end to end. Put a line straight down the center, mark out where my dowel rods are going to go, and get all those marked out before I round off the edges, because trying to get a tape measure on a rounded edge like this is going to be kind of difficult, and I'm not sure I can get it straight down the center and all of that. So I'll measure first, then I'll round these edges. Here's just a little trick that I learned from a guy locally here in Lynchburg, Andy Moore, who owns Modern Oak, a little construction company, and he does phenomenal work, and he's got lots of tricks of the trade, so follow him. But if I take this, it is right over, it's under 3 inches, a little bit more, 2 3/4. But how do you know where the exact middle is? Sometimes it's in the middle of the line, sometimes 16, 32nd, He did this trick one time where you measure it. So let's go 2 inches. We'll start at 2 inches. We'll go 6. Doesn't matter how wide it is or anything like that, but 2 and 6. And what is the dead center? There's 2 right on the mark, 6 on the mark. Dead center is 4. So I know putting a pencil there at 4 inches, there will be dead center, perfectly square on the dead. Just a little trick of the trade that I learned from Andy watching his Instagram videos. Go give him a follow. So in the meantime, I was looking through my Forstner bits, and I realized I only had a 7/8 size. However, all my dowel rods I purchased were 1 inch oak. So I had to run to the hardware store and grab a 1 inch Forstner bit. So I got one real quick. and I'll do a little test on this piece, mock-up piece that I have here. As well, while I was there, I grabbed some insert nuts like this. These are 1/4 inch by 2020, and what are they? Yeah, 20 millimeter. So the idea is to get this, drill it, and put it inside of the dowel rod like this. And I will then, on my wood, on my slats per se, I will recess it in here, right around there, or however many there will be, with the Forstner bit just maybe halfway, 1/4 inch into there. So the dowel rod will be recessed in here. I'll put that insert nut in the actual dowel rod itself. Then I will drill a hole all the way through this with a 1/4 inch bolt like this, and it will screw all the way in to the nut, and that will hold it tight together. These are simple ones that I got from our local hardware store, just Everbuilt nuts and bolts, and we're going to see how that works. I'll do it on test fit on this one. I have one extra dowel rod just in case anything happens or anything like that. So we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and test that out now. And then once it goes, I'll go ahead and measure everything, get it all lined up, squared, and then hopefully tonight start recessing them. Should be good. Be a good night.
A couple years ago, I was able to pick up this 8-inch wind drill press on Craigslist for a pretty cheap price. On this project alone, it saved me so much time. I had to cut theoretically 26 holes for 13 dowel rods on the longer portions and 5 additional holes on the shorter ones. I was able to do all of it in about 5 minutes.
All right, so here's some things I found out as I was going through this. Made another test hole here. Perfect depth. Went ahead and took a 1/4 inch Forstner bit from this side, drilled a test hole all the way through, had it on a waste board. Perfect fit for the bolt coming in. You can see there, I'm going to recess this head just a freckle. So this is going through perfect. It's going to look great. My Forstner bit in here, and again, it's a Diablo Forstner bit. It went about halfway through, and I think that's great stabilization for it. So that's all good for that bolt. For the fastener, on the other hand, so I used another Forstner bit of 3/8. So I was thinking that this actually, the head of this is right at 3/8 inches, and then you have all these teeth. So I was thinking this would be the perfect match for it. Seems like it. You hold it up to it, it's like a perfect match. However, I guess with the oak, it's just super hard wood. We all know that. So what I did, I drilled this all the way down, started to screw this in, and what it has in here is the head is an Allen wrench. Put that in, that stripped out immediately. So out of all honesty, I knew this is my dummy piece. I went ahead and used a pair of pliers, and I was just tightening it down. I got probably almost all the way in to about here, as you can see right there, and then the wood started to crack. So what I stepped up and I got another Forstner bit, got a 1/2 inch, re-drilled the hole, and then unfortunately it's too big and it just drops right in. Teeth can't sink into anything. So what I think I'm going to do next is use a 3/8 Forstner bit, drill it to the proper depth, then get a 3/8 normal drill bit and kind of ream it out just a hair in there to see and make sure that these teeth can grab it. Gonna have to test it out a little bit more. I'm not sure why this didn't go. None of the teeth chipped, which is great. the depth was appropriate for the bolt to go in, so everything like that is good. I got to get this kink worked out so I can make sure I can do it properly for all the other ones. But now that I got this done, I'm gonna go ahead and measure the center line, like I showed from Andy Moore, how to measure the center line of all of it, mark out the different spots that the different dowel rods are gonna go. What I decided now is to drill all these holes first before I even cut the ends here, and that way I can sand it all and I won't have to re-sand after I drill and everything. Same with the back end. Drill all the holes first, then cut, then I'll have my sanding. I think that'll be a better process for this. So yeah, just got to keep learning, and it's evolving, but having fun doing this.